So,
Hi everyone, welcome to session 3 of generative AI. Like the previous session, we'll do it in two parts. In the first part, we'll go over the homework that was assigned. And the homework is not due today, homework is due only on Sunday. But we'll go over, Vidya has made tremendous progress. We'll see how she went about learning and doing, building APIs using ChatGPT. So that's the first part of the session, and we'll continue. Uh, we did we did some Bhumi Puja on machine learning last time, so we'll go and then build on that, and probably have some foundation by end of day today. So that's the agenda for today. Over to you, Vidya. You can start sharing your screen and going over it.
sure. Thank you, Bhargav. Mm, okay. Can you see my screen now? I guess yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
So, yeah. So
There are
to
a few,
begin,
there are a few people new today. Can you start with setting the context on what the assignment that you've taken, and then start from there?
sure. So the assignment was to create an API using Fast API and to answer the questions that was asked in the previous assignment. So basically, the API should take a CSV file as an input, and then it should answer the questions such as what is the gross margin, and all those questions that we went through the previous homework assignment.
Vidya, can you just pull it up briefly so that some of the new joinees,
Huh. Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
right, may know
So
what we're
just a
talking
second.
about?
So just a second. Yeah. So is this a screen that you're seeing? A generative AI class assignment.
That's right.
Yeah. So we have we have a Sapota Yield Agriculture Private Limited company that actually buys the products. I mean the fruits from farmers, and they actually sell it to the big bazaars and everything. So the cost that they pay to buy the fruits from the farmers is called as cost price or buying price, and the amount they sell to the big bazaar is called as selling price. And this is their business model, and the profit that they earn is the difference between the selling price and the buying price. So there is a data, their sales data here, which has columns of the vendors. And just a second, I'll share the sales data. So here is the sales data that's been given to us. I hope
Are
you
you,
are able
are
to see
you,
the.
no, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay. I'm just a second. Maybe I'll share my entire window.
Please.
So here is the sales data, data set, and we have the date and the firm that the fruits or vegetables that was bought from, and we have different vendors here, ranging from vendor 1 to vendor 10, and then we have the buying price, the customer. That means that's the big bazaar or the big firms that they are selling to, and for what price they are selling those fruits and vegetable, and how many quantity that has been sold. So with this data in hand, we are actually calculating and answering different questions here, and those questions are given in the assignment. Just a sec. Having some difficulty. So the questions that we need to answer are: what is the overall gross margin for their business? And which vendor is the most profitable one among all those 10 vendors? And which customer is the least profitable one? And which week was which day of the week, that means Monday or Sunday, which day of the week was the most profitable one, and which day of the week was the least profitable one. So these are the first 5 questions that we are trying to answer with this Excel data, that I mean the CSV file we have. And this can be done using simple data analysis like pandas and all with Python. And this is what was done in the previous assignment. So continuing with this, we are going to build an API which will take this data, sales data, CSV file as an input, and it'll have to answer these questions, first 4 questions
Sorry,
at least.
sorry to interject. In the previous
Yeah,
assignment, did we actually code to get these results? What did we exactly do?
yeah.
I mean, just
Actually,
to set
like
the
we use,
context.
yeah, we used the chat GPT, and we got help from the chat GPT and uploaded the file directly to the chat GPT 4. And
Mhm.
then we were asking the questions, what is the overall gross margin for the business, and the chat GPT kept answering with this analysis, and
All
we
right.
actually did a cross verification of whether these answer provided by chat GPT was right,
All right.
using Excel, I mean formulas in Excel, and also using Python
All right.
programming.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, so to continue with this, since we are focusing on generative and AI, and we are exploring the potential of chat GPT. So we continued with that, and with having no clue like how an API works, or how what fast API is, I just dived into chat GPT to see what it can do, or what it can answer for the second assignment, that is like creating an API that will accept this CSV file as an input, and then it should produce an output for calculating these gross margin, for what is the overall gross margin for the business, and what all these 4 questions. So am I clear until now?
Yep. At least it's clear to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now moving on to ChatGPT. So whatever I shared on the chat was a fair draft, so that is what I'm going to begin with now. But then there is a rough draft of ChatGPT where all the error messages that I went, and how it was able to answer, and how did I resolve certain issues. So all these things we'll be seeing now. So to begin with, I started asking what is an API, and can you explain in short what is an API means? So yeah, it went in a very beginner terms, which was really good, and because see, an API, or an application programming interface, is a set of rules or protocols for building and interacting with software applications. And it went on defining how different software programs can communicate with each other. It defines how different software programs can communicate with each other. And this example was really good. Essentially, it is like a menu in a restaurant. The menu provides a list of dishes you can order, along with a description of each dish. When you specify which dish you want, the kitchen or the system here prepares the dish and serves it. In the same way, an API lists a bunch of operation that developers can use, along with the description of what they do. The developers can puts together the instruction and API call to tell the system what to do, and the system responds accordingly to the requested data or action. So
Uh,
from this,
okay.
yeah.
Sorry to interject. Now, this is the API definition from a developer standpoint. But as a
Hmm.
user, so
Hmm.
let's say I'm a user and I don't understand any tech.
Hmm.
Uh, in this particular context, where we're looking at the sales data, and let's say I have the file with me, and I want those questions to be answered using your API calls. Can you just take us through, as a user, how will I get those questions answered? I don't want to know the development, how you went about developing it. That of course is there. But as a user, if I have to have those questions answered, how would I go about it?
So you mean the endpoint?
Yes,
Where,
that's right. Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Because
So
from a
yeah.
user standpoint,
Uh-huh.
all this is hidden behind the scene. Whatever you're showing now, the definition of, I mean, the user may not even know what fast API is for that matter, right?
Mhm.
To the user, it's merely an endpoint, and they just know that they have to pass the file, and then given the API endpoint, they'll get an answer, right? So can you just help me with what would a user see when they use one of your API endpoints that you've developed? We'll of course come to the development aspect as well.
Okay, so you want me to first show the the endpoint that we
Yes,
developed?
that's right. That's
Right.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
can you just show us that?
Yeah,
Now
sure,
that,
sure.
so I'm a user, I have the sales data file with me. I
Uh,
have 5 questions
yeah,
that
right,
I want them to be answered. So what would I do?
right. So this is the screen. Can you see the fast API? Am
No,
I
not
sharing the right screen?
no,
No?
not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. I have opened a lot of windows here, so mm, now,
Yep.
yeah. So here is the API that's been developed. This is the end result that I'm showing now. So here we have a post request where we upload the CSV file. For example, if I go here and if I upload the CSV file, so I'm choosing the sales data one CSV file and I'm just clicking on execute. So first here it says that the file is uploaded successfully. So this is the response that we get. And further, we go ahead and see, get the gross margin from this CSV file that's been uploaded. And we get the gross margin as 0.246. So this can be rounded or converted to the percentage. And then we move to the who's the most profitable vendor. So here we can see that the most profitable vendor is vendor 4. And then the next question, get the most profitable day. And the most profitable day is Monday. And the least profitable customer is customer 3. So these are the first 4 questions that's answered here.
All right. So question would be, so when we say API endpoint, what
Mhm.
is an API endpoint here? Can you help us with that?
Yeah, so the endpoint here is this is where we access the information from. So am I to the point now? Like
So how many endpoints are there on the
so we
screen?
have, yeah, we have around like 5 endpoints here to basically tell that there are 5 endpoints here. One endpoint is where we post or upload our CSV file, and another 4 is where we get the results. So there are 4 and 5 endpoints here.
All right. And what does Fast API do here? What is the role of Fast API?
Yeah, actually, like it. So to be very specific, I think it helps us to you know uh, go ahead and upload it, and we have a server here, site here, where we could it's locally hosted, and we could do a data analysis directly in that without programmatically going and working on that using PyCharm or anywhere. So this is what I understood, my understanding of API is.
No, let me put it this way. So as a user, so of course this is installed on your machine. Am I right?
Yeah.
So as a user, let's say I have this file.
Mm. Mm.
Of course, I'm not going to code. How, and I want to use these endpoints as you call it. So you have 5 endpoints: post, one post, and then I have and then you have 4 gets, right? How
Yeah.
do you think I can use these endpoints as a user? I
Okay.
can't access
How?
your machine, of course, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so you could access this and this using the link that we can provide here. Actually, this is hosted locally, but we could host it to, I mean, in public sites also. Like there are many, I think there are many options. Like I think Heroku was one where these APIs were hosted. So if as a user, if someone wants to see what using their data, which should be specifically in this format that we uploaded, because this is not a generic that we were discussing, right? So
Mhm.
this is not create this program here is not created for generic CSV file, but it is specific to this program, which will have these columns, like as we saw the vendors, customers, and selling price, buying price. With that, if they have an CSV file, they could upload it in post section here, and they could see the results, such as what is the get gross margin, or what is the most profitable vendor and most profitable day. So this endpoint will help to answer without them going directly and typing out all the program, or doing any manual calculations by themselves.
All right. Okay,
So,
got it. Thank
yeah.
you.
So
Others, any questions so far?
We see. I have just a clarification. I think the endpoint is just one. It's the method that we use to access the endpoints. So if I may have to
Is that so?
reframe, yeah.
I'm just asking you. So what is an endpoint here?
So the endpoint is where you expose your API. Like it's a website URL. Like you can call the API. Anybody can call your API, and they can pass the parameter using the methods. Like the methods are like post, get, or all the methods. So it's a,
No,
it's
but
a, it's a little
then what
extended
is
concept,
then
but
what is
yeah.
this analyze gross margin, analyze most profitable vendor? What do you call that?
Those are the methods. Like, I want to just get my gross margin. So I think whatever we have developed is all the methods that we can just access this API as a default methods. Like my get method is just going to specifically call that method using the parameters that we already provided, and will give me that
Totally.
output.
The accepted norm of how we tell is how VC tells. So when we
Yeah.
tell an endpoint, it's the entire URL. So it's probably,
Exactly.
let's say, deployed in some
Okay.
myamazinggenerativeai.com, right? So that / upload CSV is the endpoint, and there's a nuance on what a post is and what is a get is. When we discuss build APIs from scratch, I'll cover a lot more. But for example, request URL that's down here, that's the entire endpoint. The endpoint tells that this is the endpoint that you have to hit to get it done. The way you would do it after, if you have parameters to do it, is you will use a question mark to start doing it, and then you will start giving. So here, here we don't have much, but in general, if there are more than one, then that's how we'll go and do it.
All right. So which means the endpoint is the request URL itself. Can you go to the next?
Like the request URL, the endpoint is the request URL. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
it keeps changing, right? So you have the gross margin, and then the next one would be something else, right?
yeah, we have 5 request URLs here
All
for
right.
This
this
is
Okay.
project.
All right.
really well defined. I mean, I'm amazed that it's written endpoint named so correctly, because this is something that we keep having troubles in how to do it. These are named really well, because we are analyzing, so it needs to be first telling it, and then there are different functions that it calls, so the entire endpoint. But as Pradeep told, these are different operations that we are going to do. And that's what the entire endpoint. So this least profitable customer would tell that I'm going to analyze, and it's a least profitable customer, and it will have a set of arguments that you need to pass to get it done.
This is integrated with Swagger, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
this is Swagger. This is not integrated. Yeah, this is Swagger. So Fast API gives Swagger documentation out of the box.
yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise we'll not get this API look.
correct.
Basically, it is combination of base URL and relative URL. So each operation we are doing is the relative one.
That's what it's telling, because it's deployed locally. The way she's deployed, it's locally. If you do it in a cloud setup, which we'll learn next week, you would have to you would do it as a full URL to call and do it. And this also doesn't include, she hasn't implemented authentication, so we'll also learn what API authentication is to go and do it. There is someone here, Anand Kumar is here. He will go teach all of those things. If he's listening, he'll like.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Wonderful. Okay, Vidya, can you just help us with, okay, how did you go about
Yeah, sure.
creating this? Let's start with the post one. How did you create it? Go ahead.
Okay, the post one, right?
Yeah.
So
Take us through
what-
the journey. We want to know about the journey. That's very important, because
yeah, right.
this is not merely a tech session.
That's right. So first of all, like what I did was, let me share it again. Okay. So after getting to know, I just went ahead and I asked it. I asked ChatGPT, like, so I didn't refer at this point. I didn't refer anywhere else. So I just wanted to know it directly from ChatGPT. And then what happened is I went ahead and asked, like, do you know how to implement the fast API? And I wanted to create API that takes CSV file as an input and perform the data analysis task. So basically, this is what we are doing. So I explicitly mentioned that it has to take a CSV file and it has to do a data analysis task, and each task is a separate API. And if you understand, say yes. So basically, what I was trying to do is I was trying to answer each question separately and create a separate endpoint for that. That's how I began. And it said yes, and I provided my CSV file. And I even said that I'm working with PyCharm IDE. So I need to install all the prerequisites and things. Then
Vidya,
I
I have
even
one
gave the
query
question.
here, Vidya. Sorry.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
see, yesterday in the first session, right, what Bhargav gave, in that he mentioned that we have to assign some role. For example, you are telling ChatGPT, you should tell ChatGPT that you are a Python developer, and then from then you have to start with. But your first question, right, you are asking it, do you know the fast API? In this case also, it was returning you proper responses.
Yes, yeah, I got proper responses. I think because we are directly giving the questions, right? I gave the instruction and what the output time input and the output that I was expecting it to give. But I didn't give any role kind of thing here. Anywhere I didn't use anywhere the role, assigning the role or anything. But I directly went ahead with the question. So I think with programming, from what I have experienced till now, with programming, I think it doesn't require to specify which role that we have to perform. But when we are trying to get an explanation from it, like writing a paragraph or something like that in context of like editorial thing, and as you are a teacher and you have to explain me this in terms like, how do you explain me this, then I think it would differ and help most. But
Okay.
from what I experienced till now is, I didn't give any context, I didn't give any role here, but I just went directly and I just specified the instruction for what it has to do, and I gave the input and the output indicators. That's it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, like I just wanted to keep my query simple. So that's the reason. And yeah, so I went ahead and it gave me the answer yes. It understood the problem statement, and it gave me a brief explanation how it is going to handle and how it's going to perform that. And I said, okay, guide me step by step. So I said it. Yes, I need you to guide me step by step, and I'm working in a PyCharm ID, and I'll be providing with the CSV file here, and that will be uploaded to the API. So this is where we'll say that it is not th- this is not a generic program. So if you are going to upload any kind of CSV file, I think it won't be able to produce an output, because the data analysis part that we have done is based solely on this CSV file here. And the first question needs to be answered is, what is the overall gross margin? So that's it. I didn't give any more details of what is the gross margin formula or anything else. But then it went ahead and it said, let's begin. And then it took me through how to install a fast API in Ubicon. So this is a basic prerequisite, like the dependencies that we need. And it said, like, you have to go ahead and run pip install fast API all. So this will have this will actually come with Ubicon and everything. So I went ahead and I installed fast API, and then it said me to test it with the Hello World program. So this is quite amazing, actually, like, because without jumping directly into the file or the program, it actually took me step by step, and it said, like, do with the Hello World program, and if we encounter any problem here, I think we could figure it out, like, later. But then it worked perfectly fine for me here. And then I proceeded with this adding an endpoint to the file. So what it basically did was it imported all the files that is needed, I mean libraries, fast API and pandas. And then here comes an endpoint. So this is the post and endpoints that to upload the CSV file. And this is the syntax, actually. So for quite till now I was confused, like there were like dots here, and should I have to modify it, and should I have to change the code here? So I wasn't sure about the syntax, so I just gave it a try. But then before that, yeah. And it also gave me function definition here, like how to calculate the gross margin. So that was the question that we wanted to answer, right? So I didn't give any kind of formulas or anything, or I didn't specify which what are the columns in that CSV file or anything, but it automatically pulled those columns, and it went ahead, and it gave me the gross margin, formula for gross margin, and how to calculate it, and how to return that value into this post method. I'm into this post and this decorator. So this is the first step. And then it gave me, like, this is how you have to execute it. Ubicon main app.
Can you open the
Yeah,
Python file if you don't mind, the .py
yeah,
file? Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
just for us to get a sense,
yeah,
because
sure, definitely.
we've seen the API, but I just want
Oh,
to see how the code looks.
sure.
Are you sharing something? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So can you go all the way to the top?
Yeah.
All right. Then, okay, so you have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
the usual stuff, right? Okay.
yeah, actually, like, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah. So we actually, like, see, this is the function definition that it gave, like, So gross margin, how to calculate it. And actually I added a percentage, 100
Yeah.
here.
Right.
So this is the first thing. I didn't use any get method here, and I just went ahead and used only the post method that it gave. I'll tell you why I used the get method later. So this is the same thing, the same program that I copied and pasted it to the
So just to
diagram. Yeah.
understand, so you have a post method here,
Mhm.
and so when you see, how does it know that it's supposed to expect a file? Is it the next row that is it
Oh,
row number
yeah.
26 that tells
Yeah. So
fast API that
here,
we're supposed to expect a file?
right, yeah. Here we are actually saying like, the upload file, and this is the file name that we give it. We actually use here, and then it actually pulls the file and reads it here. So this is where it actually gets the file.
Okay. And any reason why we're using the await?
No, I'm not sure. I didn't dive deeper into the code, and
Okay,
I
all
was
right.
just, yeah. I just
You
went
just
ahead.
you wanted to get it to work, right? I think that was the
Yeah, yeah,
first
first,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, that was my first
Yeah.
target.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Got
yeah,
it.
I'm actually still exploring. Still now, I didn't use app get method. So I'll tell you. Like, so do you want me to execute this program at first, or shall we just skip it?
Uh,
One second, can you just scroll up all the way to the top?
Yeah.
Let's just go. I'm sorry, I just want to come down, please. Uh, oh,
I think you created multiple .py files, right? One for each.
Yeah, one for each question.
Right.
So
Okay.
I was first thinking like we'll have to create a separate APIs for each question, but then ChatGPT itself gave me a combined thing where we could. That was the final result that I showed you.
got it. I'm just trying to figure out where this file of file function is defined. Is it defined anywhere above? Can you?
I think that is one of fast APIs. See here,
Oh,
upload file. Yeah.
Fast API by default it can take files as string,
yeah,
file,
no,
byte
no,
arrays.
it's different. This is different. Come down. I'll tell you what's happening. No, that's good, Vidya. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what happens here is file colon basically tells what is the file type. So there are now concept of types in Python. So
Mm.
it ignores everything from there. It's mostly for us to read. So this is extremely good programming. Okay, it's really good. It's just that like if you take a typical programmer, Python programmer, they would not write like something like this. This is more like how you probably would write in Java or C, where you write a word, write an argument, and you tell what type it is. So it's good. It's fascinating. I'm just fascinated by how ChatGPT has given the code. Good.
Yeah. So this was so I went ahead and created each file for each question, and then this was my first approach here. And then what I did was I asked it to put everything into one program. uh, for example, I said that I wanted a program that will answer all of my questions in one API. So then it went ahead and gave me this entire program, and this is another API that I created. So
So the one that you
mm,
showed a while back.
mm, yeah,
So which script did it call? Did it call the consolidated script or?
yeah, that was an entire program also. So what happened here was that I actually was trying to use curl method to get the response. So what happened was I was getting an error, this error for post for sending a post request using curl. It basically said that you have to send the file location and the URL So I couldn't fetch the proper response for this. So what I did was, I went ahead and used, I'll share you the chat GPT file for that. Just a second. Yeah. So here, this is what, and it went ahead and it gave me the entire program here. So this is what we were saying in that first program that I showed you now. So then I moved on to the next question, which is the most profitable vendor, and it gave me the entire entire code for that one. And then with the third question, most profitable week, and this time I specified it for this. Can you give me the entire code instead of splitting it into the parts? So this is I just asked it to give me the entire program at one shot. So it went ahead and it gave me without giving it into two separate files and then it combining and everything. So
Can you show me the consolidated, the
mhm.
.py file that you finally created? Can you
Yeah,
just show me
sure.
that? Yeah.
You mean the chat GPT or?
No, the
Yeah, you can show in your ID. We can look into the
in
ID.
ID, yeah, in PyCharm, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
all right. So when it says API router, so these are endpoints that get created. Are these endpoints? So when, because this is one single .py file, so how do we identify which
Ah,
ones are the various endpoints?
as Vidya told earlier, based on the decorators. So line, one second, line 17 is an endpoint, 1125
Okay.
is
All
an
right.
endpoint.
All right. Okay.
Okay, and
So you already have.
1123
Okay.
is the endpoint. So whenever there's an ad, that's a decorator, and that line is the endpoint. So whatever is within the parenthesis, within the
Oh, okay. All right. I got it. Got it. And the first one is a post, and the others are get, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You could see here. It's get method here. Get.
All
And
right.
then this is the post. So what is the difference? Like posting is like we are actually giving an input to this
That's right.
code, right?
Correct.
So that
Correct.
is the post, and what we are getting out of it, what is the answer that I wanted to give? So that is the get. Actually, like that's
Mm.
how I kept it simple, like keeping an understanding about how it works around.
We'll discuss this. I mean, there's slight more nuances to it. We'll discuss this in detail when we do APIs next week. But a way to think about it is post is when you want to write in, and get is when you want to retrieve something. Retrieval functions will all have get in it, and when you want to write, so for example, here you're going to
So
write.
Bhargav, so you can post with parameters and get with parameters. Is that so?
Yes,
All right.
correct.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is just a naming convention, right? When you
All right.
post, you're telling that. So here you will tell what is. So here you're from the disk, you're writing it into RAM. So sometimes you might want to write into a DB. Then also it's a post. And so if you want to read, then
So something like if I want this file to go into a database that sits on a cloud, then
you'll
that's
post.
like post it. Okay. All right. Okay.
This all came from early ways, because you want to post punch card, post. It all
Mm.
the names came from eons ago, not, but the convention has stuck.
Okay. Okay. And how did you test this, by the way? I want to understand that, Vidya.
Yeah.
Can
So
you
the
just take
first
us through that? Yeah.
yeah, sure. Okay. So the first problem that before so these are all like the fad draft that I shared before. So then what happened was I was getting few errors, like when I was trying to you know execute the program for the first time, and it said that uh, the just a second, yeah, the one error yeah, here it is. So one error I was constantly getting was that Python multipart was not found. I'm not sure if any of you faced that issue,
Yeah,
but
I got
then
that error. I faced that issue. We have to install that multipart.
yeah, so even though I installed it many times, I wasn't able to rectify the issue. So I just said like I'm getting an error. This is how I gave the instruction to this. I'm getting an error, and I copied that runtime error, that whatever that terminal was throwing at me. So I copied it and I said, this is the error that I'm getting. So it said that yeah, it was very obvious that we need to install pip install multipart, and it gave me how to install it and how to rerun the program again. But then I again said that I'm getting that error even after installing it. So this was really amazing right now, because it said that if you're still encountering it, maybe you have to verify the installation and restart the server. It was giving me multiple options here to check how to install it a proper way. And then it asked me to and it also said me to uninstall and reinstall it again, like so. And along with that, it gave me the code also, which was really good, and which came in handy also, like for me. But even after trying all these things, it was still not working for me, because there was some other error, like I had to go ahead and I was visiting Stack Overflow, and it seems that multiple people have encountered that error, and one question like was able to resolve, one answer was able to resolve my issue here. So that's what I shared it in the chat also. So I need to take it step by step and then again reinstall, and then I was able to rectify that error. So this was one thing that I felt like, even though ChatGPT is giving all these answers, but still we need to do our research from our end if we are still facing the issues. And I'm not quite sure how to put it in the right way to ChatGPT and to get the proper response from it that we are expecting. So
I
I
th-
I think
yeah, I'm so sorry, Vidya. I think the error is because of the Python upload file that you're using, right? The upload file,
Mhm.
whenever you import the upload file library, so it has a dependency on this multi-part. So I think the error what you're facing, I think you're running it in PyCharm or VS Code, I guess. I think in PyCharm. So PyCharm itself has one set of one environment, okay? And whatever you're creating as a virtual environment has a set of its own
We didn't
environment.
create virtual environment. So from the time she's done, that's literally what I wrote in my notebook, that when she finishes talking, I
Okay.
should tell her that she should use environment. So that's
Oh, okay. It's
it's a
because of the
very
Yeah.
environment issue.
that's like
Whatever you did was
okay,
right,
but
okay?
when she posted the question itself, I knew this is probably what will happen. So, but I wanted her to go experiment and tell
Oh, okay.
what she
Yeah,
said.
yeah. I
Fine,
actually even did that,
so that
because here
yeah,
it says like, if
correct,
possible, try setting up new Python virtual environment.
yeah.
I went ahead and even I did that, but then in that virtual environment, still I was facing this issue.
It's
I
because
wasn't
how
quite
you
sure what.
run the place where you run also
Mm,
matters, right?
yeah,
It may not have been picking. So the problem is system. So are you on Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Okay,
Yeah,
Windows lesser problem, but it might just be some version conflict between what PyCharm already might have installed some versions. There could be multiple versions, and this could have just happened. Some freak
yeah.
stuff like this happens.
So then I actually like finally fixed it. I even gave the entire post, whatever that I got, and I pasted the entire error message here. and then it was saying me like, yeah, it took a while for me to figure it out, like what is happening. And it just gave me like how to debug this issue. It was very good, like it gave me step by step like instruction, how what are the ways that you could go and check how to rectify this issue. And then I said like, yes, I managed somehow. Now I'm getting this error, what does it mean? And I was like quite not sure why I'm still not getting the file. Then it said like, you have to go. I was just going and clicking on the link that was provided in that terminal, that which had only up till this part. But then using Swagger, I then learned that it is like, you have to give a slash and docs, add docs to the end, and then that's how you can access the Swagger UI. So that was the second learning. So it was and after that point, once I was able to get that both the issue resolved, I think after that it was a smooth journey from there.
So can you help me with what is this Swagger?
Yeah, I think that is that's what just I shared you right now, right? Like it is an UI for viewing fast API requests, I think.
Oh,
Just
all
a
right.
second. Yeah.
So where is this installed? Is
No,
it
no, no. It
something?
is
No.
basically
That is
API
not.
definition.
It's in my head. No. No. Finally, Vidya tells something wrong.
No, I didn't actually.
That's okay. That's okay.
No,
That's fine.
I just had an assumption like, yeah, I have to keep it like,
Srisha
think of
will
it in
explain
such a way.
what Swagger is.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Yeah, Srisha. Go.
Swagger is basically API definition, specification.
Okay.
It's like on the server, like how many different operations are exposed, what way we have to access, what way we have to pass the input, and in which way we'll get the response. Complete specification of the API will be defined.
And in this particular case, where is this installed? I mean,
And that is what I'm wondering, because I have seen the code which she has shared.
Okay. Sorry, I'll go for it. So Srisha is missing. So
Yeah.
both of them is missing one crucial part. Yeah, let's stay here. So Swagger is a documentation tool. Okay. So APIs, whenever someone writes API, you need to see the documentation of it, right? So the good practices that so typically in a large company setup, people will write code, and there will be technical writers whose task is to take this data and then specifically write technical documents around it. And one of the ways in which it's documented, the most common one way in which an API is documented is what is called Swagger. Swagger is a tool. I mean, it's a server-based, UI-based tool that will allow you to show the documentation. So typically, so one way is to write in a Word document, right? In a Word document is not interactive. So Swagger makes it very interactive because over here, I can play and test around with it. It gives me a playground automatically where I have the method, I know the type of the method, I know I can upload something and then I can test it. So it combines documentation with a playground automatically. Now this is combining two different ways. In which a Word document I can just write, and then curl is something where I can only operate on it, but I won't be able to easily understand what the documentation is. So some tool that combines these two frameworks, and it uses what is known as the Open API framework on how API should be defined and declared. So that's the common framework in it is done. This is not the only way in which an API could be written. Swagger is by far the most popular one, but there are other popular ones like Docusaurus by the Facebook team, which is also phenomenally popular. So there are only very few documentation tools for the technical team. The advantage of, so one of the reasons why Fast API is so popular at least among the data science community is because if you see where the comment comes, the comment comes from the code itself. So if you, I mean, let's just try this out. Can you please go to the IDE, and then can you do
Yeah,
a
sure.
doc string? Can you go enter a doc string? Yeah, please share your screen, go to the IDE. Let's go to the first one, the post request.
Okay.
Where is the post request? I don't see the post request. Yeah.
Here.
So async def after that. So after line 26, and enter. Doc string, you know how what doc string is, sir? No. Doc string. 3 single quotes, please.
Oh, okay.
One more. No, delete 2 of them. No, I want only 3 of them. Yeah, okay, enter. Now enter there's a format in which you have to write, but whatever comes to your mind, write. Okay, next, close it, please. Okay, save it, please. Go on and refresh Swagger.
Actually, this is a new.
You haven't run it? Okay, run
No.
it.
Actually, VS Code is automatically restarting after every save.
VS Code.
Yeah,
VS Code
but
editor is automatically restarting. We need not restart explicitly.
No, you fast API is hot reload. You don't need to restart. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Can you?
So
Unicon is running. Can you open it and show us?
yeah. So can you see the screen now?
Yes, yes.
This is so when I give /docs, then only it'll populate. Oh, why I'm still getting this one? I think the other just a second. I think the other two. Yeah.
This is GenAI session. Can you see that on the top?
On top, yeah.
On top.
Yeah.
So it automatically pulls. So the best practices. We'll learn how to write doc strings later. But when you will, you can tell ChatGPT itself to add a comment, and then it comes automatically. So that's the advantage of having something like Swagger. Okay, because it automatically generates. There's an automatic Swagger integration, so we don't need to go explicitly write documentation. Documentation of APIs is out of the box in API in Fast API.
So /docs is reserved for that.
Yeah, so it automatically bundles and deploys a Swagger app along with Fast API.
No, what if we try to use that? I mean URL instead of upload CSV. What if I try to use docs over there? What will happen?
No, that's what she did. No, docs on the top. That's where it is, right? Look at the URL. It's
No, I
localhost
just
8000 docs.
asking like what if we duplicate the endpoint and what will happen when we use the endpoint for our
Rakesh, you're not audible.
Rakesh, I don't understand, Rakesh.
She's asking what if you rename the endpoint as docs? Is that correct, Grisha?
Yeah, that is what I mean. It is explicitly. I mean, it is reserved actually.
We'll have to check. Okay.
No, actually, I mean, how is that picking that /docs? Actually, that is
It
what
automatically deploys. Fast API is a library. Whenever when it automatically deploys docs. That's written in the library itself.
Yeah, my question was also the same. Like, why didn't it come at the first? Because for what we saw is like UVCon is running on this.
Correct, but that's the endpoint. No, that's your endpoint. It's telling that UVCon. we need to understand server setup. UVCon is only like a gateway. It's like only a server that is set up. What functions are accessible in the server? Your endpoints in the server are not yet visible. That's what your decorators will tell you, right? It's only telling that my server is now up. This makes sense?
Right.
That's it. And then
Right.
on the server, okay, my hotel is open, right? In your example, my
Yeah.
restaurant is open. What can you get comes like the menu. The menu needs to be there,
Menu
right?
is not
The
available.
menu is
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
The menu card
Right.
is the docs. The menu card is the docs. Every
Docs.
single
Right.
item, your idli, vada, dosa are all your
Mm.
endpoints. Okay,
Right.
your own example.
Bhargav,
Yeah.
in this, when you are posting, when you are using a post method, right? The CSV file, whichever is uploaded, it stays inside the project itself, or where it is stored actually. After that,
You
you
can do
are
all of
reading
it.
it
You
in.
can change. You can keep, you can save it in wherever you want. We'll
Okay.
yeah, you can specify the place. By default, it'll create like a place. It's only uploaded to the RAM. It's not saved on the disk because you're moving from the disk to the RAM. If you want to serialize it, either save in a disk, then you have to specify a location, or you can save it in a database. We'll learn about how to save it into a database.
Yeah, sure.
Bhargav, question.
Yeah.
When I ran the endpoint, I didn't use docs. So the way
No, nobody will have to use the docs. The endpoint will not have docs. Docs is just an additional functionality that Fast API provides in terms of documentation.
Oh, okay, I understand. All right. So eventually, so effectively when it is calling that URL slash whatever that analyze slash whatever, right? Oh,
Correct.
okay. All right.
That's
So
my
so docs is essentially the documentation bit.
document.
Helps me to document, and
Hey,
when I click on execute, it actually runs this whatever I'm getting to see on the screen here.
Correct. Exactly.
Slash analyze slash. Okay, I got it. Because when I ran it, I didn't use the docs,
Correct.
right? I just ran the endpoint directly. So I got the number out. I didn't have a problem. But of course, I didn't see any documentation. So it was lousy.
No, that's okay. This is all.
No, actually, right. I mean, previous versions, I'm not sure. We used to explicitly specify. If we read Swagger definition, right, we have to explicitly specify with @Swagger and all. Now I think it is automated and it's giving automatically this fast API.
Correct.
On the question,
So,
what you have asked, right? Can I use docs as my endpoint? Yes, you can use it, but while creating your fast API itself, you need to define your docs URL. You need to change your docs to some other endpoint, and you can use it. I've pasted an example in the chat. If you use same thing, then it will conflict and it will throw you an error.
So docs is like a keyword here, isn't it? Almost like a keyword, right? Sort of reserved.
Yeah.
So you got to be very careful, right?
Yeah, this is custom document.
Okay. Well,
so yeah, before we move on, like I'm still fair. I'm not completed with this curl. But whenever I use curl with that get endpoint, right, like get method endpoints, I was able to get the content here.
Correct.
So, but whenever I used it with post, it was throwing me an error. Like I'm sure that this is not the proper command, but still I'm still working on that. That's what, like.
Understood. Okay.
Anybody facing this error? Like anybody found a solution? Like
No, there is an issue with your syntax. You have to define as hyphen post and have to manipulate accordingly.
Oh,
By default, it will take get. That is why you are getting an error saying that invalid method.
yeah, that's right. So because of this purpose only, I moved on to using get method in my program.
Yeah, I understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Syntax will be different for post. Actually, I am facing some error, but it will be something like this.
Yeah, it is
Actually, I'm getting error also. This is where I'm stuck. Let me show you like sample, but it should be corrected again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Something like this.
I'll stop sharing my screen now.
No, she
I
has
just
said
pinged in the
she
chat.
has pinged in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Because it's probably it might.
Oh, sorry. Actually, this is wrong path. I used a different format.
Yeah,
There is some issue with the endpoint here.
So it's saying that the positional parameter is not available.
No.
used
Actually, the
V.
path is wrong. I'm actually, as I said, right, I'm trying out different possibilities. Something like this. You have to define the request method as post data. How you have to pass the data.
Chat actually. Okay, like I think I need to work on that again.
By the way, what is curl?
Curl is basically a tool where which can be used to test all the HTTP requests. Just like Postman. Have you ever heard of Postman?
Oh, okay.
These are all the tools actually which we can use.
So
to test
is
basically
it
the REST.
all right? Is it like, so instead of opening a browser and plugging in that URL, you punch in curl and then, is that so? Am I getting it right?
Browser, if you give URL, it will be get, but you cannot send a payload, right? Let's say if you want to create something where you use post operation. So in the browser, how do you give the data? You cannot give that. So in that case, we have to definitely use some or the other tool, out of which we'll go with either SOAP UI. SOAP UI majorly we use for web services. Postman is one such tool. SOAP UI is one such tool, and we have curl also.
Okay.
Browser, you can test for get operations. In get also, sometimes we may have to pass some input. In that case, again, browser is not at all useful.
Oh, okay. Nuances. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So we will, Vidya, for everyone, all of you will have to install Postman on your system and then try the same on Postman, okay?
Yeah, sure.
In general, that's the accepted practice. That's what we do because FastAPI provides docs, Swagger, so you test something, but like you also need to know at all places, like how do I do it if I use a different framework? How do I use Postman? How do I do curl? Curl is from terminal, so how do I do it from terminal? So different levels of testing it. The other okay, specifically for Vidya, others should come and reach in this situation. But for as you start doing it, you should integrate. I think someone told I want unit test framework also added to it. Please use PyTest. Okay, PYTEST. I'll send it as assignment. I want you to add this so that you know that that's a good practice to know, is my input and output coming correctly or not. So that's will complete the loop on how a developer would do, and this is like already quite good in what you've done. Okay, so there are the two things that it's a Friday night, so I'm not going to stop here. We'll go way over. Anyone has a hard stop? Anyone has a challenge? Or anyone feeling too sleepy?
I think some of the students have an exam tomorrow, right?
An exam tomorrow?
Yeah, they do.
Who has an exam tomorrow?
I think all of them, I suppose.
Oh man, Saturday in my back when I was young, we didn't have exams on Saturdays.
We didn't.
And no one, the college on Saturday will be a ghost town. Okay.
Now even on Sunday they used to run exams. But
Okay.
What time is the exam? 9 o'clock in the morning, is it?
Yep.
9.
9.
All right. 9.
Sometimes they'll ask you to come at 8:30 and do all
9:30
this.
to 12:30 usually.
Pavi, why are you talking?
I mean, it's just 6 months I'm away from the campus.
We also wrote on Sundays.
Yeah, we wrote on.
That was because you joined after the pandemic, right? So, which is why they were rushing through the entire syllabus, I suppose. Anyways, all right. So, Bhargav, would you want to continue, given that they have an exam tomorrow morning? I leave it to you.
No, I feel bad already keeping them up till this much
12.
time. How many students are there here?
Quite a few. At least 5, 6. Shweta,
Okay.
then we have Sandhya, then Kailviri, Rakesh. Rakesh, do you have an exam? You're in the final year, right? You're done, right? The chapter is over. All right.
Okay.
No,
So
we
then,
have to write.
Chandralekha.
okay, then okay, because I wanted to continue, didn't want to lose the momentum on machine learning. Okay, we'll do it on Monday. That's okay. But I want 5 more minutes. Naveen, can you present what you've done? Naveen will
What
talk.
like
What you just sent
Midjourney,
me.
GPT?
What? No, the one that you just shared it to me.
Okay, I'll get that first.
Naveen, where are you now? New York, is it?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
All right.
Hey, he's meeting Harish on Sunday.
Harishwar Prasad,
Yeah.
the JP Morgan guy. Is JP Morgan, right?
No, that's
Yeah,
JP Morgan.
Yeah, Naveen JP Morgan. Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So what I've did, like I got excited. So you guys are doing a lot of stuff on. You started programming, right? So I thought, okay, let's take this up to one more level up. So I thought of building GPTs. What GPTs actually is? GPTs is a kind of a tool which you can build on top of ChatGPT for a specific use case. Let's say they have launched it few back. So these are called GPTs. What this GPT is used of? So for an example, let's take data analysis GPT. So what you can do, you know not to specify anything. You need not to tell you're an awesome data analyst. You need not to do anything. Just you upload your like the data what you have, and you can start asking question. It will answer. Similarly, DALI for creating images. There are lots of GPTs for it. Even you have Laundry Buddy. It's crazy. Like we can do you can leverage Chat GPT for your specific use case. So what I thought, okay, let's do it for let's then do it for Fast AI. Sorry, this is Fast API. My bad. Okay, let's do it for Fast API. So what I've done is I've created a GPT to create a Fast API application. The job is right. So when you define a API, when you give your data, it will write a whole set of code for you. Okay, and you can define whether you're beginner, you're intermediate, or you're pro level. Based on that, it will like the programming language will vary based on that. So but let's first see the output and come back to here, like how to create it. Let's say I'll show you. Okay. So this is my GPTs. What I have done, I have just uploaded data set, what we have used, and I've defined API for the following. That's it. I haven't given anything else. Just have copy pasted what Bhargav written on the Notion. Okay. Then what it does, like while creating this GPT, what I tell, okay, whenever people start with a message, start with a motivational quote, like to push people to program. So it tells, okay, every great journey begins with a single step. That embark on this code adventuring together. Whenever you run this for the first time, it will give you some sort of motivational quotes like this. Okay, after that it started. Okay, first it will go and run through the data, and it will see what are the API should I create. Then this is like it will tell, okay, this is the answer for all your APIs. So this is what the answer will be. So it defined, so that what it basically does is it understands the logic behind it. So once this is done, it says, okay, now let's move on creating Fast API. It asks, are you familiar with the Fast API? Do you have any preference how the endpoint should be structured? I told no, go with whatever you want. Or else you can tell, okay, this is how it should be structured and stuff. I told no. What it did, it is all right, no problem. Here is the plan. It created 5 endpoint: overall gross margin, most profitable vendor, least profitable customer, most profitable day, and least profitable day. And it went on and it created a one file. That is it. So it imported a CSV, and it knows, like it understands what is what. And whenever you hit it, it will read from data frame, and it just give an output. Now what you have to do is You have to create a virtual environment and you have to run pip install fast API unicon. You have to copy this one file and you have to define your path for your data. And if you start running, yeah, you can access the API.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Naveen.
Mhm.
What you've done is I can use Fast API Guru
Yeah.
to give any file as an input, is it? Or any, is it specifically for a file, or will it
No, it
work
is
for?
not specifically for a file. It is like if you want to create an endpoint with some logic, let's say I want to create an endpoint to create a simplest interest based on my input. Yes, it will do it. It is basically creating APIs on your request, whatever it can be. It can be on top of file, it can be just a definition.
Okay, so correct me if I'm
can
wrong.
be-
So just as we were trying to use GPT in this particular, yesterday the previous session, we were using I think it was data analysis, right? We were
Yeah.
using that, not
Yes, sir.
directly, but indirectly it was using that to
Mhm.
compute the statistics that we wanted.
Yeah.
So what you have done is you've created this fast API Guru that will allow us to generate the code for any
Correct.
fast API kind of requirement. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how did you do it? That'll
I'll
be my
tell you.
question.
Yeah, I was about to show you. Okay. So here, like you can create your GPTs. When you click on add, you'll create your own GPT. I'll show you how I did this. So let's say you can just start chatting, telling that, okay, this is what my requirement is. I want to do stuff and those. So when you chat, what it will do, it will add all your requirements on this configuration. So basically, I'll tell you what the instruction is all about. So, okay. Now it is telling fast API. Okay, this is like a version 2 of it. Okay, I think it has replaced for the Swagger UI. I've made a bit modification to this, but I don't know how can I revert to previous version.
I'm sorry, we'll just take, we can probably repeat this later. Maybe the students can go and sleep, or maybe only the rest of us can be here. It's already 12. Let them
Yeah.
sleep.
Anyways, we are recording it as well.
We're
So
recording it. Will anyway, this is using GPTs, which we haven't covered so far. We'll do that again on Monday. So all the students, please go and sleep. All the best for tomorrow's exam. Rest of you just stay back. Yeah, all the students can drop off. Bye.
well, I'll leave it to them.
Thank you.
Let them drop off. You don't need to. Yeah, they'll decide.
Yes, I mean, now you can continue.
Yeah. So what I've done, like I've done some modification, so it has altered everything. So let's say if you want to start from like scratch, what you can do, you can go create a GPT telling that, okay, create an agent to build fast API for production. Every time start with the motivational quote on programming. So if I do this, what it does is it internally it is trying to create a GPT. Okay, let's wait for this. Once this is done, like it's real time, it will update here. You need not to save it, everything it will take care. So after updating here, if you go here on the configure, it will tell, okay, what's the description is I built a fast API production and start with programming code. Just give me a minute, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Now, whatever we gave there, it will convert into a beautiful prompt telling that, okay, your role is to assist in a quick developing API for production environment. You should begin each interaction with a motivational quote related to programming, setting a positive and an inspiring tone. When the API, when providing API development guidance, focus on efficiency, best practices, ensuring the APIs are robust and scalable, all those things. So it will create its own prompts. Okay. And it will also create some starter questions for you as well. And what you can do, if you want to refer to any particular guide, you can upload that knowledge here. or else you can leave it to GPT's general knowledge. We also have a lot of capabilities here. One is web browsing. It will surf over the internet. The next is DALI. It will create own images. I think in our case, we need not need both of this. So I'm disabling it. I need only the code interpreter for programming, and that is it. Okay. So now, yeah, this is what all it is. Now you can go give a name for it and you can save it here. You can also publish to everyone, or you can you can use it for your use, or you can
Naveen, question.
Yes, yes, yes.
I can, correct me if I'm wrong, I can achieve what you have achieved through the
Yes.
use of prompts, isn't it?
Correct.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I can,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
So I don't quite need a special
Uh,
GPT to do this, isn't it?
But this,
so sorry, I'll take
if you
this
want
one.
to do a repeatable task, then GPTs is the way to do it, right?
Correct.
So each and every time you need not to define it.
So what you're doing here, we see, is that he's building an agent. So it need not. So now what's so one of the problems that's happening on the channel, it's not a problem. One of the things that's happening is everyone is writing their own set of thing, right? For example, there is no way we can share what has been done and at the same state. So here somebody has built it, and then now that modified one is now the agent. That's the starting point, and you can use that to interact with whatever you want.
So it is like, if this were to be an organization, then you have this GPT, and all of us would use this GPT to create our own APIs, something like
It's
that.
already prompted. Everything is done. Now I can directly go and then tell only my business problem. It will get me an answer, and I can start using
But
it.
So this
question.
is again one more API, right?
Sorry?
No, it's not
This
an
is
API.
like another API, right?
Not an
Where
API.
you are
Okay,
hitting
no,
it and you are getting the response.
I think a better way to understand is this is an agent.
Okay.
An
Right?
AI
So
agent,
customized,
right?
Yeah,
customized.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's something like people on top of creating GPTs and productive tools like meeting
It's
minutes and
just like
everything.
a app,
Something
like
like that.
Android app.
It's an app. That's another way of thinking. Android app is
Oh,
another
yeah.
way of, because
I'll
Just
tell you.
within the AI ecosystem, these are all the apps. Yep.
correct. And now
Yeah.
GPT's store is coming up, right? Now you can go search for somebody who's already done something. You can take it and then start using it. You don't need to go start building the prompts from scratch, which is all that we have been learning this week.
And
So
this feature is
this
available in 3.5 also.
No. This is only in 4. So one way of thinking we see here, like let's say I'm running a business. I want to create a chatbot to interact with users, right? Before GPT, this is hard. I need to write program. I need to host it somewhere. Like literally everything is challenging there. Now here, what I can do, I can create a GPT and I can share the link with across people. If they have doubt in any of my documentation or stuff, just they can go and they can just query it. Now it is paid. Of course, I understand it is paid $20, but soon, like there are other ways of integrating this as well. So once they launch some plan for stuffs like this, then like literally you can create anything for your customers without zero development and stuff.
Question. So what is it that you did specially to get it to work?
Especially the way I prompted, like I just spent some 8 to 10 minutes on that particular prompting, telling that, okay.
So what are the prompts here that made it work?
Here the instruction is your prompt. Okay.
Oh, okay. And
Either
does it read it in a certain sequence, or
certain sequence in the sense?
no? I mean, this looks like a paragraph, isn't it? Right. So let's say okay, let me put it this way. I pass a file. I don't have this GPT at all at the moment. Okay. But I have these instructions available with me. So I copy your instruction. I give a file and I exactly copy paste this instruction, but of course not through this GPT that you've created. Would it give me the same response, or would it give a different response?
Yeah, it will give you the same response.
Okay. All right. So you've literally optimized the prompts that I'm supposed to use to get a code out. Literally,
Correct.
right? Oh, okay.
So
all right.
one more thing is, now GPT-4 have integrated multi thing in one chat. Let's say I want to create an image, I can do it on the same chat. I want to write a code, I can do it on the same chat. This is what the agent is. What does the agent do? Let's say from one output, it will map the output as an input to some other models. So combination of model. So that is where the power is, right? So if I have one, okay, it gives me something. What I have to do, I have to manually do some stuff to execute it with some other models. Let's take, I want to define a scenario and I want to create an image for it. In previous case, I have to write a whole description in different chat and I have to put it on a DALI and I have to create an image. Now what I can do, create an image and elaborate this particular scenario and add some creativity to it and create it. When I do this, what actually it does in backend, GPT-4 comes in place. It will elaborate the description and it will add a lot more creativity to it. That output from GPT-4 will go as an input to DALI. That will help us in creating beautiful image where for us, it's hard to describe it. It will take a lot of time. So that is the power of agent. So it encapsulates multiple models and it brings you as in one particular application. That is what we call as an agent. It has a certain functionality which it can perform.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way we integrate with ChatGPT it's
Yeah.
different from the way we integrate with this GPT, or more or less will that be the same?
Integrate in the sense you're talking from a programmatic point of view, or
Yes, let's say, I mean, now like when we are coding, right, we are trying to interact with ChatGPT and then get the response out of it.
Yep.
Now, Bhargav told us like it will be, I mean, it's not only prompt, we can code and interact with ChatGPT also.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, what if I want to interact with this agent? You told that we can integrate with this agent also, right? So will there be any difference, or?
Yeah, what you can do is in OpenAI, recently they have launched endpoints for developers. What you can do, literally you can pass this conversation and you can store it in that particular ID. So whenever using that ID, here the ID is our agent. Let's say you have made a conversation, you can use that memory in future conversations. That is basically with one ID. So here agent is our GPTs. In UI, agent is equal to GPTs. In programmatically, how do you define? Agent is equal to some sort of APIs with some memory. That's it. I don't think so. They do have an explicit API endpoint for each of our GPT. They don't have it. So you need to redefine, like you need to create it in APIs, which you can do it easily.
So one question here, Naveen, like, so
Yes,
if you are
we'll
going
do
to
some examples. We'll do some examples to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't introduced GPTs. I just wanted to show the power of what is possible. This is like the natural evolution and next step of what's coming. So think of this like a teaser. We'll start next session with a bit more of GPTs. I just want to have a quick understanding. Maybe okay, first I'll stop recording. Thanks everyone for today's session.